My name is Ted, and I'm here to share a story that's deeply personal and reflective of a journey through love, loss, and self-discovery. At 52 years old, living in New York, I find myself looking back at the 20 years I spent married to Kathy, my ex-wife, who was 47 when we went our separate ways. We share a son, Ron, who's 19 and studying in a different city. I'm a small business owner, doing fairly well for myself, which allowed us to enjoy a comfortable life in this bustling city. Our story began nearly a quarter of a century ago on a lively Friday night in a New York City bar. It was there I first saw Kathy, whose presence seemed to light up the room. Compelled by an unseen force, I approached her, and what followed was a conversation that lasted hours, filled with laughter, intelligence, and a connection that felt destined. Kathy was a free spirit, her energy and zest for life infectious, and I was completely drawn in. After years of dating, filled with countless memories and deepening affection, I proposed to Kathy in Central Park, under the shade of an ancient oak tree. She said yes, and we married in a small ceremony, surrounded by those closest to us. Life was good, and my business success meant we never had to worry much about financial matters. However, Kathy's circle of friends, married to wealthy men and accustomed to a life of luxury and leisure, began to cast a shadow over our happiness. I always felt uneasy about them, their influence, and the examples of failed marriages and substantial alimony settlements that seemed to surround Kathy. Despite my concerns, she assured me that nothing could sway her love for me and our family. I wanted to believe her. The turning point came on Kathy's 45th birthday. She chose to celebrate with her friends, insisting it was important due to one of them moving away. Reluctantly, I agreed, spending the evening alone with my thoughts and a bottle of Jack Daniels. That night, Kathy's activities, broadcasted live on her social media, were a painful eye-opener. The celebration was vulgar, marked by a cake designed in the shape of a male organ, an act I found deeply disrespectful and out of character for the woman I thought I knew. When confronted, Kathy and I found ourselves at a crossroads, our conversation revealing a truth that had been brewing beneath the surface for years. Kathy confessed her desire for a divorce, a thought that had occupied her mind long before that night. The realization that our paths had irrevocably diverged was heart-wrenching. As Kathy ventured out to find herself, I too embarked on a journey of self-discovery. Despite the pain, I found strength in the simple things: my work, my son, and the companionship of my loyal dog. Life without Kathy has been an adjustment, a recalibration of sorts, but it's also been a period of growth. To those listening to my story, I hope it serves as a reminder of the complexities of love and the importance of staying true to oneself. Following Kathy's birthday debacle, where her friends gleefully cheered and danced around a cake adorned with a rather suggestive decoration, my sense of discomfort soared to unprecedented heights. Witnessing Kathy and her companion's subsequent visit to a male strip club only served to intensify my dismay. It was a moment of reckoning. I could no longer remain silent. Confronting Kathy about her conduct became an unavoidable necessity. I couldn't overlook the flagrant indecency, particularly with our 19-year-old son, Ron, bearing witness to it all. As Kathy's tears flowed in response to my rebuke, they felt to assuage the profound disappointment gnawing at my soul. I made it unequivocally clear that her actions were utterly unacceptable, emphasizing that stepping foot into a strip club wasn't some unexpected surprise, but a deliberate choice she had made. That night, the chasm between us was palpable, tangible even, as I found myself unable to share our marital bed with Kathy. The following morning, as Kathy silently departed for her gym, the weight of unresolved tension hung heavy in the air, casting a pall over our once harmonious home. In the ensuing weeks, our interactions became fraught with strain, marred by terse exchanges and unspoken grievances simmering beneath the surface. Despite my best efforts to bridge the growing chasm, it seemed as though our marriage was teetering on the precipice of irreparable fracture. Amidst the discord, Kathy delved deeper into the realm of social media, particularly TikTok, where her daily vlogs garnered increasing attention. Meanwhile, I found myself withdrawing from her online presence, seeking solace in the comforting embrace of cherished moments spent with Ron. Yet, even as I attempted to salvage what remained of our fractured relationship, my efforts seemed futile in the face of Kathy's seeming indifference. Her unwavering commitment to her social life and burgeoning online persona only served to exacerbate the ever-widening chasm between us. On the occasion of my own birthday, I sought to extend an olive branch, hoping to reignite the flickering embers of our once ardent love. Yet, Kathy's lack of appreciation and her immediate departure in the company of her friends left me seething with a sense of profound disillusionment and insignificance. The following morning, as I broached the subject of therapy, recognizing the precarious state of our relationship, Kathy's dismissive demeanor served as a stark reminder of the seemingly insurmountable obstacles standing in the way of our reconciliation. As the fabric of our marriage unraveled before my eyes, I found myself grappling with a maelstrom of conflicting emotions, frustration, sorrow, and an overwhelming sense of uncertainty about our future. The once indomitable bond that had united us now lay fractured, its jagged edges serving as a poignant reminder of the irretrievable loss that loomed ominously on the horizon. Upon Kathy's return from the gym, accompanied by her friends, I felt a palpable tension that had been building up between us needed to be addressed. It was an unusual day for me. I had decided not to attend my office, a decision driven by the urgency to confront the issues that were eroding the foundation of our marriage. The request for Kathy to join me in our bedroom for a conversation was met with a mix of surprise and reluctance, but the seriousness of the situation was clear. As we sat down, the air thick with anticipation and unease, I asked Kathy directly about her intentions towards our marriage. Her response was a gut-wrenching confirmation of my worst fears. Kathy admitted that for the past 2 years, she had been harboring thoughts of divorce, feeling an overwhelming urge to reinvent herself and explore life beyond the confines of our relationship. The revelation was a devastating blow, leaving me reeling with a mix of anger, betrayal, and sadness. In a moment of intense emotion, I couldn't help but express my outrage at her decision and the influence of her friends, whom I viewed as detrimental to her well-being. I vehemently criticized the superficial and destructive lifestyle they promoted, cautioning Kathy about the harsh realities of the world outside the safety of our marriage. My warnings were stark, painting a grim picture of opportunistic individuals ready to exploit her naivety and vulnerability. The aftermath of our conversation was a heavy silence, a clear indication that the bridge between us had been irrevocably burned. Kathy's decision to publicly announce her intention to divorce on social media the following day added a public dimension to our private agony, exposing our fractured relationship to the scrutiny of others. Despite her subsequent attempts to reach out and bridge the gap between us, it became evident that the chasm was too wide to cross. In the weeks that followed, as Kathy vacated our shared home, the reality of our separation set in. Our son, caught in the emotional crossfire, struggled to make sense of the upheaval in his family life. For me, watching Kathy's journey of self-discovery unfold on social media was a bittersweet experience. Her posts, a mix of optimistic declarations and vulnerable confessions, hinted at her struggle to navigate her new independence. Kathy's foray into new relationships, as documented on her social media, painted a poignant picture of her search for connection and validation. Each post, each attempt to showcase a new beginning, only underscored the transient nature of the companionships she sought. Watching from a distance, my initial feelings of hurt and betrayal gradually gave way to a sense of detached resignation. The dissolution of our marriage, while painful, had become a necessary step towards finding peace and closure for both of us. As the tumultuous saga of Kathy's unraveling unfolded before my eyes, each chapter seemed to plunge us deeper into a realm of disarray and despair. The video capturing her participation in a private gathering where she shamelessly danced in scanty lingerie served as an alarming harbinger of the downward spiral she was descending into. The cheers of her companions echoed through the screen, a cacophony of approval for her brazen exhibitionism. The ensuing scenes were no less disconcerting. With a heavy heart, I observed as Kathy, emboldened by her newfound digital audience, shed her inhibitions along with her clothing, basking in the fleeting adulation of online voyeurs. The poolside video, in which she flaunted her 47-year-old physique with an unsettling mix of defiance and desperation, was a jarring testament to the depths of her self-destructive behavior. As if her public displays of recklessness weren't enough, Kathy's decision to share her Tinder profile felt like a final nail in the coffin of our disintegrating marriage. Clicking on the link, I braced myself for the inevitable onslaught of voyeuristic imagery, each image serving as a painful reminder of the chasm that now separated us. The sight of my wife, barely clothed and shamelessly courting attention from strangers, left me reeling with a potent mix of anger and heartbreak. Yet, perhaps the most distressing aspect of Kathy's descent into moral ambiguity was her casual disregard for the sanctity of our vows. The videos depicting her dalliances with younger men, each encounter tinged with an air of transience and superficiality, laid bare the hollowness at the core of her quest for validation. It was a stark reminder of the irreparable damage inflicted upon our once solid foundation, now crumbling beneath the weight of betrayal and disillusionment. As Kathy's public proclamations veered from defiant declarations to tearful confessions, I found myself grappling with a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. Her belated acknowledgement of the consequences of her actions offered little comfort, serving only to underscore the depth of the chasm that now separated us. Confronted with her desperate plea for reconciliation, I stood firm in my resolve, unwilling to entertain the notion of salvaging a relationship irreparably marred by deceit and betrayal. When Kathy, grasping at straws in a futile attempt to reclaim the remnants of our shattered union, sought refuge in the familiarity of our former home, I remained steadfast in my refusal. With a heavy heart and a steely resolve, I dismantled any illusions of reconciliation, determined to forge ahead unencumbered by the shackles of a broken past. As Kathy's tearful entreaties dissolved into a chorus of lamentations, I retreated into the sanctuary of my solitude, finding solace in the unwavering companionship of my faithful canine companion. Amidst the wreckage of our fractured relationship, I found solace in the unwavering love of my son and the enduring bonds of friendship. Observing Kathy's futile attempts to recapture lost innocence and salvage what remained of our shattered dreams, I couldn't help but feel a profound sense of resignation. Her belated realization of the consequences of her actions served as a sobering reminder of the immutable truths of human nature, a testament to the enduring power of choice and consequence. As I navigated the uncertain road ahead, I vowed to embrace the lessons of the past and forge a new path forward, guided by the unwavering light of hope and resilience.